Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Wright Flyer. This is your captain, Randy Wright speaking, and as always, I'm joined on our state-of-the-art radio program by my first officer, Jeremy Grapenton. Folks, this will be the final boarding call, so if you please, claim your seats, fasten your seat belts, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show while Jeremy and I go ahead and delve into the pre-flight checklist, as there really is a lot of news and information to get to before we may fully indulge you with your in-flight entertainment. Well, folks, if there is one thing that whining Don Trump Jr. the First, yes, we're going to mix up his names like his speaking pattern. But if there is one thing that Donald J. Trump has done throughout this entire 2016 presidential election cycle, it is whine incessantly when things don't go his way. It's as though he is a petulant child, because in reality, that's exactly who he is. Remember when he stood in front of the cameras of the graduates of Pavlov's School of Journalism for the salivating mainstream media and proclaimed that he only had a tiddly-widdly, smally loan from Daddy Bear of $1 million to get his business started? Well, it's kind of that same mentality here. He doesn't think it's fair that the rules were changed in Colorado because it means that more states would have a chance to have some influence in the early part of the primary season. That was one of the primary complaints I've had with respect to the primary season leading up to this 2016 election cycle. Texas always went so late that it was decided before we even had a chance to have a say. Well, that has been quite a different story with respect to the 2016 election cycle. Anyway, because of the new rules affecting how the caucus states would go, so that you wouldn't have another Ron Paul type of Bilderberger, I won the debate, gold tin foil hat
Money
tirade there. That
Money
little,
bomb.
yeah, tinfoil tirade. They had put in these rules that whoever won the caucus would have to, the delegates would have to support them. So Colorado saying, look, we don't have the budget to support all of that. We're not going to go through with that. We'll still have our 34 delegates, but let the candidates come and at their own expense, basically vie for the support of the delegates of that state. And that is what Ted Cruz did. And he took all 34 delegates. Now, all of a sudden, that's cheating. That's cheating. It's not like me when I cheated on the bankruptcy laws. It's not like when I cheated the immigration board with the Polish brigade. No, it's not like that. This was really major bad cheating. I mean, my hands are so smally they can't show how bigly this cheating is.
Here's an idea. If you're going to run for president, make sure you understand the rules. It's very simple. It's kind of like going to a casino and jumping on a blackjack table and thinking, well, you know what, I'm just going to do this or I'm going to do that. And then when you get called for, I don't know, being stupid and petulant, stupidly, whinily, petulantly, retardedly dumb, because you whine because you lose all your money. Well, I didn't understand the rules. I want a do-over. This isn't hopscotch on the playground, okay? If you continue to do so, we're going to get the playground bullies to take you over to the monkey bars and throw you off. Stop.
And it's interesting, Jeremy, because if you look at what happened in Wisconsin, Trump was literally thrashed there. He was, to steal a phrase from his own rather limited vernacular, he was schlonged in Wisconsin. I guess the Badgers badgered his schlonging campaign. And it comes down to this bombastic, abrasive personality of his, the vulgarian that we know him to be, and his inability to escape that, and his inability to come down with any type of coherent, logical, reasonable, practicable plan, I think that is what betrayed him in the end. People are getting tired of the nonstop schoolyard bully routine. We all know who schoolyard bullies were. We all had to deal with them. Maybe some of us were them. I wasn't. I was their victim until I learned to, stand up and beat the snot out of them.
Yeah. Well, likewise with me, but the point is, like you said, he's the bully. He wants to bully everybody. And then when he doesn't get his way, or when somebody pops him in the nose and bloodies his nose, he goes whining to the headmaster or the principal. He hit me. Yeah, I was taking his lunch money and I was pushing him around, and maybe I pulled his pants down in front of a bunch of other students and this and that. So he turned around and popped me in the nose. I want him suspended. You know what? You claim to be a winner. Guess what? Winners understand what competition is. Winners embrace the theory and fundamental principles of competition. Why? Because they understand the rules. You don't know the rules. You don't want to comply with the rules because you think you can make your own rules. This is a problem. You are not God, no matter how much you think you are, nor are you a state or a country or any other entity. You are Donald Julius Weinerberger Trump. That is what you are.
Well, Jeremy, it goes even deeper than this. It would be one thing if the process, the primary process, were actually harming Trump with respect to the delegate count. But according to Red State and the Right Scoop, there's information that anyone can find that actually Trump has been getting 8% more delegates than Cruz on a proportional ratio of the amount of voter support that they've gotten. Yet I haven't once heard Cruz go in front of the cameras of the salivating mainstream media to whine about this as if he were some sort of petulant child. And I think that the reason for that comes down to character and value. It's funny, when you look at what the Trump followers have been commenting with respect to Rush Limbaugh today, actually going out and speaking out of the other side of his mouth in support of Ted Cruz, saying that Cruz did not cheat to win these delegates, that he had a plan, that he was willing to do the hard work to accomplish this, and it is starting to pay off dividends. Yes. Well, they said, how can you believe that, Raj? He's lying, Ted Cruz. He's not even eligible. He's a Canadian. Irrespective of the fact that people have told us about 1401 all of these times, the statutory law, but Trump.
Yeah.
Why is it always, but Trump? Can they not fathom or develop or conjure up or pull out of their posterior some other argument than, but Trump?
No. Simply put, no. Because they're just like him.
It's too bigly for them.
It's too bigly for them to comprehend in a bigly, intellectually way. Mm-hmm. They just can't do it. Now, here's the flip side to that coin. They're perfectly fine with what happened in Nevada and in Arizona. They're perfectly fine with it. When in Arizona, when people were in line to vote and they shut the polls down early and turned voters away, thus violating their constitutional rights to cast a vote, they're perfectly fine with that. But of course, that's par for the course. They're on the Trump resort.
Yeah.
As long as their guy's the one that's violating the Constitution and it's doing so in their favor so that They don't look like frauds. And I'm going to tell you right now, all these Trump supporters that have been asked if they're going to vote for Cruz if he gets the nomination and they said no, you're a fraud.
Yeah, but
you
Trump.
are a fraud.
Yeah, but Trump.
That's fine. Yeah, but Trump yourself into another country. Get the hell out of mine.
No,
because,
yeah, but Trump.
Yeah. See,
that's literally what it comes down to.
That's what it comes out. Right. It's like beating your head against a brick wall. At what point do those of us of a sound, sane mind decide to stop beating our heads against a brick wall?
Yeah.
See, I'm not going to argue with them anymore. There's no sense in arguing. It's not even an argument. It's like taking a child that has 2 rocks in his head and telling them over and over, stop putting your hand on a hot stove. They keep doing it. They're incorrigible. You can't teach them anything.
Yeah, of course they're incorrigible. It comes down to they are looking for a candidate that is like-minded to them. It's someone that espouses their own insecurities, someone that resonates with their own lack of self-identity. So again, it comes down to this notion that they're attempting to project themselves and their unfulfilled desires onto Trump. It's a Peter Pan type mentality of, I don't ever want to grow up. I don't need to grow up. I am following Peter Pan, and Peter Pan will lead me to Never Never Land. Well, the problem is Never Never Land doesn't exist, and Peter Pan lost to the crocodile some while ago.
Yes, and Trumper Bell died because everybody stopped clapping. Yeah. And it's only because Jeb Bush didn't ask them to please clap. So, it
makes as much sense as anything else in this election cycle.
It's absolute lunacy is what it is. You have these supporters that, like you said, they project their own insecurities, their own fallacies onto somebody that they're looking to lead. Randy, I don't know if you saw earlier on Facebook, but a good mutual friend of ours, Kevin, he posted something on his status that was very profound. Stop looking for a leader, but instead look in the mirror.
That is a very profound statement, because when you stop and think about it, the very way that this representative Republican system of government of ours has been designed by our founding fathers was for we, the people, we, the ultimate wielders of supreme sovereignty in this country, are the only ones endowed with the power from our Creator to take the steps necessary to save this country. And believe me, to steal a catch of phrase from the Trumpolini, we don't want it any other way, because to embrace any other path would be to walk down the thin and narrow path to tyranny, despotism, and ultimately oppression. That is the way of potentates. That is the way of tin-pot dictators. The United States is so much more than that. We encompass so much more. We represent so much more. And our Constitution has provided the safeguard and saved more lives than any other governmental document ever devised by the hands of men, yet divinely inspired by providence above. It should be inspirational for each and every one of us. But again, if you try and bring this up to one of the most ardent supporters of the New York billionaire, businessman,
Trump,
real estate tycoon, and all-around vulgarian, Trump. Trump. We have got to move past this. And, it's like one of the memes that I've seen spread on Twitter. It shows Paul Revere on his famous ride, and it shows a sheep at the window. Warn them, and if they don't get it, move on.
Yeah. With this whole mantra, but Trump, it reminds me ever so nightmarishly.
We have to give credit to Pat and Stu on Glenn Beck for coming up with that.
Yeah.
It's just so quintessentially true.
It's spot on. But it it gives me a sense of having a nightmare while I'm awake, because I recall in my childhood being forced to watch Sesame Street, and you have those sock puppets, those shag carpet sock puppets with the eyes that go all over the place, the googly eyes. You know what I'm talking about, the ones that go yep, Trump, Trump, yep. That's what they are. The Yabba Stooges
of Ann Coulter.
Yes, the Yabba Stooges is what they are.
But you know what the tragedy of it, Jeremy, is that it will soon change from Yabba Trump to toupee when he loses. Toupee. Toupee, what happened? Toupee. Well, what happened is you put forth a candidate who is not viable, a candidate who has no sound basis in any type of system of polity, someone who clearly demonstrates on a daily basis of having a woeful lack of understanding of the way that the delegate selection process works in this country, and that has just created tidal waves all throughout the American system of polity. And then his negative vulgarian style, this harsh, abrasive style, how on earth can you expect to find unity with Trump supporters when you have people like Little Orphan Annie Yep Yep Toto running out there saying that all Cruz supporters are swine? Yet when you look at everything in the totality of the circumstances, you will find that it has been stacked very highly in favor of Trump. Trump's gotten 3 times more media coverage for free than any other candidate. Mm-hmm. Trump has gotten 8% more delegates in a pro rata share. That a proportional share like that is just bizarre. But if that's the way the rules are, then that's the way the rules are, and we find a way to overcome it through the rules. And that brings up another thing that I saw oft times repeated in some of Limbaugh's threads here, and that was, it's still cheating and stealing, even if it's by the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, but Trump.
I mean, how do you explain that? That's like saying, well, he legally murdered somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, but Trump.
Yeah, but Trump. So does that mean that illegal immigration now will become a popular, or, a proper part of our vernacular because of yeah, but Trump? What a dangerous and stupid trend we're setting.
It's not only dangerous and stupid, but where's it going to end? Where's it going to end? Is it now going to be okay for polygamy?
Yeah, but Trump.
Yeah, but Trump. Is it going to be okay to have a despotic ruler of the United States?
Yeah, but Trump.
Yeah, but Trump. Yeah,
but Trump. Is it all right if somebody walks into your house and proclaims that they're going to murder all of your children because they support Trump? Yeah,
but Trump.
Okay.
And again, the point of arguing with these imbecilic little troglodyte heathens, the only thing that needs to be said, you don't even need to say this to them, just say it to anybody else, or just put it out there for everybody to hear it. They are behaving this way because they are incapable of self-responsibility. They bought into the lie of everything that Trump is, and they've worked it and swallowed it so much.
Yeah, but Trump.
Well, this is for all the people that, understand this.
Yeah, but Trump.
The point being is they will always resort to that because they are not willing to accept responsibility for their own actions. They have to keep doing that in order to keep perpetuating their monicum of safety. And that safety being that they don't want to be exposed as being frauds.
Wally, Bildy, Wally.
Well, we don't have to expose them as being frauds anymore. They've already done it. It's the stone is cast.
The whole problem is that they simply don't care.
Yeah.
And that's that but Trump thing.
Yep.
And, it brings me back to something that you were saying a bit earlier, where you mentioned that, well, then it's going to deprive them of their social stratosphere. In a way, I think they welcome that, because then it allows them to find other Alex Jones moonbat types to congregate with. And that is who they are going to feel all the more comfortable with. That is who is going to fill up their times and their bridge games. And, well, can they count that high? I shouldn't be that crass and mean. I'm sorry, I'm not Trump. I am 2 steps above that, which means I'm at least pond scum. So I think they want to find somebody to go shopping the finest Walmart retailers, to find the bestliest,
the bigliest
aluminum
deals.
foil to make their hats out of.
Yeah.
And they're going to start a new fashion trend. They have convinced themselves that they are going to truly start a new fashion trend with Reynolds Wrap, extra strength, durable foil.
They might as well stop by the party aisle and get some glitter and sequins and, throw that
and
on
googly
there too.
eyes. Put googly eyes on it,
yes,
too.
you have to. Yabba Trump, yabba Trump, yabba Trump. Yabba.
We have to make light of this, folks, because if we don't, we're going to lose any modicum of sanity that we have left floating in these skulls of mush of ours. These people have pushed us to the brink. They have pushed us to the point of no return when it comes to our reserves of patience. And believe me, I am a very patient man, but not when it comes to but Trump. It's the same type of argument that we cast aside after we, grew out of grade school.
Yeah.
I know you are, but what am I? Great.
Yeah, it's the whole Pee Wee Herman thing. Yeah, the movie, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what? An idiot. Yeah. You shut up. Yeah. Shut up before I tie you to the tetherball pole. Just knock it off.
There comes a point where sanity has to return to the entire electoral process. The American people understand that this electoral process, this 2016 presidential election cycle, is of dire importance.
Well, I think that's going to happen.
It's going to have to. It must.
Well, it will, because everything in life is cyclical. Think of this as the new hippie movement. We can call them a bunch of Trumpies.
But at least the hippies would go out and get down and out with LSD. These people go down and out with stupidity.
So they took it to the next level.
That's a damn bad cycle.
It's in a way, this is kind of natural selection. It's thinning out the herd, so to speak. I mean, this
I don't know, they're breeding, aren't they?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. Or at least if they are, let's hope that the offspring actually says, yeah, I'm gonna stick to teenage rebellion. You got your but Trump. Well, guess what? I'm gonna go out
not Trump.
But not Trump. But I'm gonna go out and actually vote for somebody that's completely against you because, that's the whole rebellion thing. It's just it has to happen.
So we will have gone full circle from but Trump to but not Trump.
Right.
Then it's going to be what? I guess the last iteration is going to be.
Well, I and like you said before, I think this is purposely done on behalf of Trump. This whole thing, and I wouldn't put it past him, as you mentioned before also, is, after he gets the nomination, saying, well, that was fun. It was a great publicity stunt. It was huge. It was bigly. It was hugely bigly in a bigly way. Look at all the people that I got to, follow me, and they're going to now, I can reopen Trump University. I can go back to, opening up my market.
People,
scamming
more
people,
honestly.
right. I'm going to buy out all the Pier 1 imports and, sell my Trump
sharper image.
And, it's just he doesn't care about anything, but he doesn't even care about himself. I'm starting to believe he doesn't even care about himself. His money and lust for money is what rules him. It dictates him. And
it's all he cares about. It's all he's ever cared about.
Yeah. He doesn't even care about himself, because if he did, number one, he'd get a haircut. One that would actually, be feasible to look at. But if he cared about himself, then he would have some kind of modicum of compassion or sincere caring of the people, which he claims that he does. I'm going to make you all winners. How? You don't know the rules.
Yeah, but Trump.
But Trump. Yeah. So here's
Yabba dabba do. Great.
Here's the rules of the game. Rule number 1, yeah, but Trump. Rule number 2, yeah, but Trump. Rule number 3, yeah, but Trump. Rule number 4, never forget rules number 1, 2, and 3. And rule number 5, yeah, but Trump.
It's funny, because if you stop and think about it, they attacked Marco Rubio for being Mr. Roboto, for supposedly having a memorized 5-minute speech. And that was Governor Krispy Kreme of New Jersey that came out with that and just hammered the Rubester for that. And then he throws his massive girth and weight behind Donald Trump, who has a memorized
Trump burger
platitude.
Trump burger.
Trump steak, McBurger. Oh, great. It comes to a point where we have to laugh, because this is beyond absurdity. This goes into the realm of the Twilight Zone, where you wonder just what in the hell happened to my country? What in the hell happened to sanity? The answer rests in something that we have oft-times mentioned on past episodes of the Wright Flyer. That is this: when you allow yourself to be controlled by raw emotionalism, you open yourself to easy manipulation. And the con artists, the snake oil salesmen, the carnival barkers, the P.T. Barnums of this era, and recall, folks, that P.T. Barnum was that 19th century co-founder of the Barnum and Bailey circuses, who was famous, and more so infamous, for his circus sideshow freaks and all of the things. And what he was alleged to have coined as his catchphrase was, "There's a sucker born every minute." And the entire purpose of what he was trying to build out of this empire that he was creating with this 3-ring circus and these sideshows was to depart some poor schmo from his hard-earned dime. Because back then it was a dime. That was a lot of money. And that is what he concentrated on. Donald Trump is just a glorified, high-tech, modernized version of that. It is a rinse and repeat cycle of the worst order, and he is duping people left and right. And that's not just in politics. He's been doing that before. As Jeremy brought up this whole notion of the Trump University scandal, that has its roots and basis in this type of Barnum and Bailey thinking. And trust me, folks, we will be getting into this even deeper as we go further along in the program. That Paul Manafort, the new right-hand man of the Trumply Towers, has come out and said that Ted Cruz has been engaging in all sorts of scorched earth policies. In other words, that he doesn't care about the party and that he's just in all of this to win it, to get delegates. That's all it's about to Cruz. I'm sorry, but I thought that one of the things that Trampolini has oft times repeated is that I'm a winner, I'm huge at winning. My hands are smally, but I'm huge at winning. The problem is when you continuously throw these Trumper tantrums, for lack of a better term, you begin to show yourself as having no credibility whatsoever, that you don't even have an iota of credibility within your persona. And I think that the little charade, this play act, as his own former Super PAC manager, Stephanie Sigliansky, or whatever her name was, it's like he has some sort of Czech mob connection. Hey, you come here to Prague, and you pay big. We give you wife. That's even worse. Okay. Why is it that he has to put on these airs? Why is it that he has to put out a false persona? Sure, we all do it to a slight degree, but with Trump, it harkens back to that story that we exposed with John Barron and John Miller. He doesn't seem to know who he really is. And if you are going to be vying for the highest office in the land, if you are going to be vying to be the next leader of the free world, then I think you damn well better know who you really are.
I don't think he wants to know who he is.
I think it would terrify him.
It would absolutely terrify him. I mean, hell, he'd probably go bald instantly just from the sheer nightmarish knowledge.
I think that thing that's asleep on top of his head would actually wake up.
Wake up and run away.
It would start chasing after Chris Christie.
Or Karl Rove.
They're easy to confuse.
I found a new home. It's on top of the canned ham, Karl Rove. I would rest upon the bust of his brow.
You know, if there is any consolation that I can take out of this entire circus frenzy of a presidential election cycle, it is to just see the absolute loathing, despising, and hatred on the canned hams. Mr. Bucket's face when he has to talk about Trump. That's about the only thing that I can take away from this that's worth a damn.
I'm getting the image now of him pulling a Bo Jackson with his little marker board, you know, and it's not breaking over his knee.
It breaks his knee instead.
It's just that. And again, folks, we make light of this to expose the point that it really has become a mockery. What he is doing is, it's insulting, it's despicable, it's much more than just a mere slap in the face to our electoral process.
Yeah, but Trump.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's I don't know. It's
Trump-diculous.
It's yeah, but Trump.
Trump-diculous. Burns
Trust
the
me,
mind eye.
Trust me, there's no problem there. Trust me, it's a hugely bigly small hands. Maybe I'm thinking it's big because my small. I don't know, but trust me, it's there. Okay, I know it's there.
I use tweezers to get it out every morning.
Even though the tweezers look like giant needle nose pliers in my hands, but you know, God.
I
No
mean,
offense
this
to
is
needle
how
nose pliers.
Yeah, this is just how childish he has driven the entire narrative of the campaign, and then And then here is another reason that he is angry with Texas Senator Ted Cruz. It is because Ted Cruz was against sending federal money to New York City.
And the problem with that is what? You have a Trump.
You have a Trump. You have a Trump. It's the same thing. During that CNN town hall that they had coming up to the Wisconsin primary, the Badger State primary, when Trump was pressed to answer a question about what he thought the 3 most significant things that government was supposed to provide, his answer was, and I quote, healthcare, education, housing. Healthcare, education, housing. Yeah, that's what he wants. He wants free housing, free education, and free healthcare to be paid for by this nebulous, amorphous government. That goes against every tenet that our founding fathers embraced. It goes against the foundational tenets of this great representative republic of ours, and it clearly indicates why Donaldolph Julius Caesar Trumpolini is not qualified to be the next president of the United States, much less the nominee for the gutless opposition party. But I can already hear the response, "Et tu pay Trump?"
Well, let's see here. Healthcare. Well, Hitler wanted healthcare, and he actually got it. National healthcare. Education. Let's see. Hitler accomplished that too with the Hitler Youth, and then the housing.
Lebensraum,
yeah. But Drumpf. Come on. Ja und Drumpf. Come on, really? Do we see a pattern here, folks? Ja und Drumpf. Of course we do.
And this
so
coming from the same man who sat there and told the protesters in Oregon that they were wrong. And he told them that they were wrong back when it was on the Bundy Ranch for wanting to have some say over their own property instead of allowing all of it to be owned by the federal government. But you see, I think in that instance, the Drumfellini discovered some sort of kinship with someone for the first time in his life. The government owning property, he owns property. The government primarily uses eminent domain to steal property. He primarily uses eminent domain to steal property. Oh, maybe that's part of the pattern.
Ja und Drumpf.
Yeah, but you know, this ain't rocket surgery. It ain't rocket surgery. We don't need Dr. Ben Carson to figure this one out.
Right.
It's gotta come down to just the facts. When you look at the facts, the pattern is there. It is undeniable, and it speaks clearly as to what Trump is pushing for. And what Trump is pushing for is to have these sorts of controls from the federal system. And then what can we say Trump has if it is not the support of his own personal William Randolph Hearst? Because he certainly does have his own personal William Randolph Hearst with Matt Drudge. Matt Drudge brought up the Colorado article from August to throw gasoline on the fire now. Here's the question. If this decision to not hold the vote was made in August of 2015, where was Trump's anger and outrage and vitriol and venom and hairpiece when all of this was going down? Nowhere to be found. Why was Matt Drudge not going and crowing from atop his bunker, I guess is where he's living now, and trying to invite Alex Jones to tea parties there?
He's sharing a rack with James Janos, a.k.a. Jesse Ventura.
Oh, good. Good. They're meant for each other.
They're bunkies.
Yeah. Yeah.
My pink feather boa will match your nice little wannabe fedora very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was brought up in a Right Scoop article by Super Mexican, yes, SOOPER Mexican, which is kind of funny. I've always enjoyed that. But he said, it's so weird how all of a sudden everyone is in an uproar over the rules in Colorado. Trump is angry. His aides are yelling fraud. It's like Nazi Germany. It's like the Taliban. Let's all riot. And Drudge tosses gasoline on the fire by revealing this insane new story. Oh, wow, I can't believe it. Look, click it now, riot later. But the whole thing is, this story was originally from 6 months ago. Now, I don't know about you, but I understand that a lot of the media comes down to timing.
Mm-hmm.
Drudgy. We know you like to hide your face. We know you like to act like you're this some amorphous blob that nobody knows what's going on. That I'm super secret clandestine Matt Drudge. Am I over here? Or am I over here? You don't know. But here's the thing, Matt. Here's the thing, Matt. Your timing stinks because you're trying to fake a story. You know what we used to call that? We used to call that yellow journalism.
Yep. And now it's just nothing more than being a fraud.
Oh, it's a bit more than that, isn't he? Ann Coulter's girlfriend. I mean, I'm not sure how this works anymore. I don't want to be gender insensitive.
Little orphan and a yap, Maddie, drudge. It's drudgely. It's what it is.
Isn't it, though? But, you see, folks, it's when they try and create non-entity stories. This is what I thought was driving so much of the base nutty, batty, angry. I thought we were sick and tired of having the media, the information media outlets, decide who our presidential candidates were. They certainly did it with Mittens Romneykins. They did it with John, I'm a Maverick, McCain. And so now they're going to do it with Donald, look at my tiny hands. Trump?
Well, it goes right along with the same logic that the media did with Obama and his birth certificate. All this is put out, and everybody latched on, oh, he's not a natural born citizen. He was born in Kenya. He was born here. He was born in Hawaii, but it doesn't matter. See, and that's the thing. This is all part of the Trumpaganda that's being put out there. You repeat a lie often enough, eventually becomes the truth. Eventually, your timing can suck much worse or harder than a Hoover, and it will still at some point become effective for your means because you've already warped the minds of the individuals that are reading it. You know, it's like with this whole Printly.com website. Guess who owns Printly.com? Would that be John Barron or John Miller? I'm just curious.
Or is it the front company for them? The bleached skunk pelt works.
Yeah, and they're putting out all this crap. They're still people are still railing on and posting these memes of, well, Trump's not a natural born citizen, or Cruz is not a natural born citizen because
I don't think Trump's a natural born human being.
No, actually, you know what? I actually had a phone call with our first Air Marshal Nelson earlier.
Yeah.
And he pointed something out that was very, very kind of, poignant.
Bigly
poignant. By the same logic that these twisted eraser heads known as the Trumpstapo wants to use to say that Cruz is not a natural born citizen, the same applies to Trump. You know why?
His mommy
His mommy was born in Scotland.
I already know what the "yeah, but Trump" answer is.
Yeah, but I was born right here in New York City. I was born here in New York City.
Well,
Doesn't
some
matter.
of us think maybe you need a passport to get out of New York City.
Yes. And yet his mother was a British loyalist. And the only way that you can stop being a British loyalist is if the British law or the British rule of parliament tells you can stop. They're the ones who take it away from you.
Harumph. Harumph.
Yeah.
Harumph.
Now, here's harumph.
Yeah. Well, here's the next step. We're coming up to New York. Guess who's not going to be voting for Daddy? Guess who's not going to be voting for Daddy? Two of the little Trump broods, Ivanka, and I think it's the Eric creature who has...
The Eric creature.
I think he's got, like, similar hair. Anyway, they're registered as Democrats. They're registered as Democrats. And they didn't change their party affiliation in time. Oh no, Daddy!
Oh, that's not fair. That's hugely, bigly unfair. They're my children. They should be able to vote for me. I'll tell you why. Because I have hugely, bigly people that say it's so.
Clearly, Trump understands that Cruz was secretly an establishment insider with New York. Except, wait, didn't that Giuliani character who was, pure establishment with New York, didn't he back Trump? Oh, crap. Wait, maybe it's New Jersey's fault. Oh, wait, crap. Krispy Kreme. Hamburger Trump steak. No make good hamburger. No Trump steak.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. That...
Yeah,
all
but
of
Trump.
a sudden, his Trumpspiracy theories are just falling out like hair follicles.
It's like everything that he's planned is just turned into one giant radiation chemotherapy session for him. His hair is just going away. It's got to stop. It really has to stop.
All of the Trumpspiracy theories have to stop.
And you know what's going to happen, Randy? You and I, as well as our
oh, I can't wait for the comments.
Our listeners, and I'm gonna say this right now to all of our listeners who have been commenting and retweeting our show. We adore you. You are the best. And I'm going to tell you why. And to try and keep this clean, you individuals are the baddest of badasses when it comes to this, because you get it. You understand. You show that you do not want these things to transpire by way of the Trump Führer. You're making a stand, and I applaud you for it, because yes, because
please clap.
Please clap. Golf clap. The thing is, I have to say this, Randy, I am blown away, absolutely blown away by the amount of support that we've had with this show, with this project, with this. And sometimes we
couldn't do it without you folks, and we do this for you. And although tonight it seems like we've gone a bit off on a tangent,
but getting back, I don't remember what my original point was prior to
all of the Trumpspiracy theories.
Yeah, the Trumpspiracy theories. They have to stop, and they will stop to a certain degree. I mean, they'll well, they won't stop. They'll never stop, but they'll weaken. Some of them will fade away.
Pipes running around.
Yeah.
Build a burger.
Trumper burgers. Yeah. It's the Trumpen burgers.
So
the longer they continue,
Trump policy theory.
Yeah. But the more they continue, it's a double-edged sword. The more they continue, the more stupid they look. But at the same time, the more damaging it is for our republic and our fundamental way of existence as a republic. So there has, it's a give and take relationship. Basically, they're, giving everybody else a bunch of crap and expecting us to take it. Well, no, that's where they're wrong. We're going to give you the means of empowering yourself. It's yours for the taking. And as for all the little Trumpstopo troglodytes, you don't have a choice. There are more of us than there are of you. Okay? You think, oh, these two guys, they're doing their little podcast, podcasts are this, that, shut up, Howard Stern. We don't want to hear from you. If we wanted to comment from the peanut gallery, we'd smack Jimmy Carter in the back of the head. Stop. There are more of us than there are of you. And you only see those of us who we allow you to see. That's it.
We come together for the purpose of seeing that there still is a greater good for this country. That is something that has been swept by the wayside by these charlatans, by these hucksters, by these people that want to redefine who we are, both as a nation and as a people. We do not want to see our character, heritage, spirit, and above all, our national identity to be redefined by those who do not, truth be told, have the right to do so. But they think they do. They act like they do. They want us to believe that that is the way it works, but that is not how it works. It is not who they are. It just is frustrating. The reason it's so frustrating is we know the great extent of the danger and damage that our country has already sustained and which it currently faces. And if we do not come together now and reiterate the great importance of what it is that makes this country great, then we are at the brink of losing everything. And that would just be intolerable and unacceptable.
Yeah, but Trump.
Yeah, but Trump.
Yeah, but Trump. And again, for our listeners, for those of you who who follow the show on Twitter, follow Randy and I on Twitter, converse with us on Facebook, have read the blog post. And by the way, Randy, beautiful job on the blog with the postings and everything. You. Again, folks, we do this not to create a name for ourselves. We're not wanting any notoriety out of this at all. We want our republic to be preserved. We want something of substance to be there for our future generations. That is what our founding fathers wanted. That is what they emphasized. That is what they expounded on. And they've given us the means of doing it for generation after generation after generation. We cannot let that slip through our hands. Our hands are bigger than Trump's. Okay, we can handle it. We will survive this. We can handle it. Trump, on the other hand, no, just my pinky looks like my thumb, and I've only got like one knuckle on each finger. I don't know what's going on. But I got big doctors that can fix it. Trust me, they're good. I know I pay them a lot of money. They're winners, and we have to grab a hold of it and not let loose.
There is so much that is worth the utmost value in this country. There's the camaraderie and the familial spirit that has always been an integral part of the United States of America. It has been that steadfast pillar of our society, of our culture. And it is why we, throughout the decades and generations, have done so much to spread so much good throughout the world. We have stood up to every form of adversity, every challenge that has ever been placed in our path, and we have come together in solidarity and unity as a people and overcome it. We cannot allow these forces of divisiveness and division to drive this wedge between us, to allow the cracks and fissures to become to such a point that it cleaves us apart as a nation and as a people, thereby exposing us to ever greater danger of being outflanked, being outmaneuvered, being destroyed by these radical, twisted Fabian socialists and their Islamo-fascist compatriots. Because if that is allowed to come to fruition, that would be allowing these dark forces to stomp upon the name and definition and very living image of liberty. While our Constitution is not a living document, the notion of liberty, the notion of freedoms, and the system of justice by which we adhere and live by and promote is living. And if we do not take the steps that are necessary to secure it and defend it, then we are being derelict in our duty. We are not only betraying past generations, but the up-and-coming generations, and even those generations which have yet to be born. Can we really look our children in the eyes and say that we allowed this vagabond from New York, who may be a billionaire, but still has the class and characteristics and mannerisms of a social deviant and vagrant, to tear us asunder? Or are we far better than that?
I'd say that we're far better than that.
So would I.
And I would say that not only you and I, Randy, but again,
all
also
Americans.
All Americans are far better than that. It's many of them simply, again, do not want to accept that reality. There are
and I know the reason for that. It's never easy to accept responsibility.
Yeah,
you're right. It's that great unknown. The great unknown.
And it's human nature for people to fear something that they don't truly and fully understand. They want to do everything they can to run away from it. You know, it's like somebody who has a fear of the dark. They don't know why they have a fear of the dark. Well, part of it is because if it's dark, you have that pitch blackness, you don't know what's there. You know, if you go into a place where you have no light, and all darkness is just the absence of light. That's all it is. Cold is the absence of warmth. That's it. It's the opposite end of the spectrum. Well, we are facing a cold, dark way heading for our country. And if we do not have the light of the wisdom of the founding fathers enshrined in our shared Constitution, and we do not have the warmth of embracing it and putting it on our hearts to live with it and to live by it and to live for it, then it's going to be a long, cold, hard ride to hell. And dark, very dark.
It is our duty and responsibility as American citizens, as the popular sovereigns of this great representative republic, to take the mantle. And that mantle is the mantle of liberty. It is the same mantle that our founding fathers understood was engraved on the hearts of men and women everywhere. Now I can already hear the naysayers say, they were anti-women. Screw you. No. Throw that out of your mind. It comes down to there is an inherent part on every American citizen's heart, whether we be natural born or naturalized, that we come to the vast realization that we are the last best hope for freedom, liberty, sovereignty of the people of any nation on earth. We are the last stop, folks. There is no other place to run to. The river is behind our back, and the enemy we face, the Fabian socialists, they are more determined now than ever to fight us to the death. And we see that we face in that time a man with clown shoes and a bad haircut standing before it all. And that is our savior? Count me out. Count me out. Now, here's an interesting question that I think we all need to bring up, and that is with respect to Trump's continual Trumper tantrums with respect to anyone who does better than he does, anyone who wins where he doesn't. And this has become more glaringly obvious as the field begins to narrow, and that is this. Anyone who beats him, they gotta be doing a dirty trick. They're cheating. He even said that the son of the mailman, John Dennis the Minich Kasich, cheated when he won Ohio. Now, he may want to cheat to win, like using some technicality to win at a broker convention, because if nobody wanted an excrement sandwich before then, apparently they're going to want it now, delivered by the very amenable Ohio governor who loves police officers so very much that he calls them idiots when they pull him over for not slowing down or moving over into another lane. Do you realize who I am? I'm John Kasich, the fruit ninja handman. I could teach Trump that if he just moved his hands fast enough, people wouldn't be paying attention to the lack of bigliness. I'm bigly. I understand. I'm Kasich.
Well, with the whole thing with Trump, wanting to contest, it was even his new, I don't know what you want to call him, his new hair plug.
Paul Manafort.
Yeah, Mork Fart, whatever his name is.
Somebody's got a Manafort atop the quaff.
Yeah, and a couple episodes you played a clip from Manafort.
Yeah.
And it was one fact that he mentioned in that whole interview that was surrounded by all this.
I wouldn't even deign to call it an interview. It was a diatribe.
Sure. Diuretic diatribe, whatever it was. Yeah. But there was one statement that he made that was factual and everything else was bovine excrement. And that statement was, we are going to file petitions and contest to this.
Numerous protests.
And numerous protests. So, folks, again, they put all the information right out there. And then they shroud it with all of these lollipops or Trump
unicorn
pops.
horns.
Yeah.
And pixie dust.
Yeah.
But here's an interesting thing. He's going to file a bunch of protests. I thought Trump didn't like protesters. I thought that he said they were infringing upon his rights and that you should beat them up, take them out on stretchers. Oh, wait, but it's a different story if it's Trump that wants to protest. Oh, I'm all confused here.
Well, so it's the thing with...
So protesters good if protesters are Trump, but if you're not Trump, then protesters bad, you beat the bloody Pope. But what if you are pro-Trump or you're Trump and you're protesting Trump? Oy, oy, oy. I don't think I can keep up.
Well, it goes right in line with, the instance with Louisiana.
Yeah.
And then there's, again, on the flip side, where you had Arizona where Cruz supporters were not allowed to vote. But Trump won Arizona, but that's okay. Nevada, there was instances of voter fraud in Nevada or suggested voter fraud in Nevada, but Trump won Nevada. It's okay. But the second he loses, the very second he even thinks he's going to lose, and remember, folks, he even said it himself. If I'm in a deal or if I'm in something to where I think it's not going to benefit me, I'm going to pull out, and that's it, so that I save face, so that I don't lose. Now he's pulling out, and his check thumpers are still face down, and he's wasting all over their backs because he's going to contest every single primary or caucus that he loses because it's unfair. The rules are unfair. This whole Colorado thing, again, learn the rules. Learn the rules. It's very simple. It's
if everybody else can do it, why can't Trump? You see, this is the whole thing. He is the embodiment and the personification of all of those elitist elements that I thought that the Trump voters said that they were steadfastly against, that it goes against everything they believe in, that it works against what they believe is important. No, it turns out that it's all just a bunch of Trumpocracy, and that is not any different than the Trumpspiracy theories that they've been peddling out through that megalomaniac Alex Jones in his bunker down there in Austin, Texas. And here's the thing. When you stop and think about what it is that Trump's trying to accomplish, what it is that Trump has been peddling and pushing, it's nothing of substance. He's even said, all I have to say to get a crowd up and rawly emoting without giving it a second thought is going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Yeah. Now, if we go back to the little Roboto speech for the Rubester, it's some 5-minute speech. Why did Harry the Hippo Krispy Kreme, the governor of New Jersey, not hit Trump on? Well, he did a little bit. He said, all you have to do is ask how.
Yeah.
But if he's going to hit Rubester for all of these little memorized speeches, Trump has memorized a bumper sticker and then goes off of that. It's as if you could fit his entire campaign on a frickin' bumper sticker.
He's got one of his little made in Mexico baseball caps sitting there on the podium, and he just reads from it. You know, that's what it is.
Make America Garate, no, greet again.
And I still have to point. See what it is. Trump is playing the victim card, except his victim card is much bigger and betterlier than everybody else's.
Because how can he hold it?
Because bigly things come in small packages, apparently, and because his victim card is not your standard run-of-the-mill die-cut print victim card. It's platinum grade. Exactly. Exactly. It is platinum grade. Now, this is going to cause another problem because Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, when they get wind of Trump's victim card being platinum grade, they're going to sue. They're going to sue. Why? Because it's racist that Trump has a platinum victim card and they only have one that gets stamped out on the inside back part of a cereal box. That's what's going to happen. You watch, mark my words. But that's all Trump is doing. He's playing the damn victim card.
Haven't we had enough of that during these disastrous 2 terms of the Barack Hussein Obama regime? Has not America been laid prostrate enough by these simpering, narcissistic fools and cowards that have worked tirelessly and nonstop to sow the seeds of their Fabian socialist agenda, their anti-American drivel and filth? I know I'm sick and tired of it, and I have a feeling that the vast majority of our cherished listening passengers and audience are fed up with it as well, because it is strangling the life out of America. It is strangling the life out of us. It is impeding our ability as popular sovereigns to take the steps that are necessary to coalesce around the American identity and to bring this country back, as only we, the popular sovereigns, can. See, that's the problem that we have with the Trumpolini. He is not operating with America's best interests, as Jeremy and I have both reiterated since the start of this evening's program. And folks, what it comes down to time and again, over and over and over again, is that Trump is in this for ulterior motives. But I think somewhere along the way, Trump has even lost sight of what it is that he's seeking to accomplish. It's as though his ego has taken complete control of his, well, I would say mind, but that would insinuate that he has one. His sea cucumber sponge thing, little tied up seaweed crap that just floats around under the hairpiece, that he's getting controlled by his ego.
Yeah. And, you know, I know we're going to have listeners, Randy, that listen to this, and they're going to post their comments. And by the way, folks, all comments are welcome. All comments are welcome. We're not hard to find. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're right here on YouTube. Leave comments. We love the feedback. We especially love the death threats. We especially love the death. I know I do. It brightens my day to know that I've gotten somebody so apoplectic to where they finally thought about peeling their crusted underwear off their mama's couch with them still attached to them and trying to even think about finding me to do harm to me. It means that I've accomplished something. I'm not happy unless I infuriate at least one person every single day. Why? Because if I make people mad, it causes them to possibly think, at least those that are capable of thinking. It's a good thing. I love the negativity because it tells us what we're doing right. It tells us what we don't need to change, but it also tells us what we need to ramp up a little bit more and keep hammering on. I love it. And especially from the Trump camp. Again, this is an open invitation to Donalphus Caesar Trumpus to come onto the show and let's have a civil conversation. Or you could send, Morkfart or whatever his name is, or
Manafort.
or whatever his name is.
Lewandowski.
Send any of them. We're not hard to find. I'll just send us a tweet saying, hey, I'd like to be on your show. I'd like to discuss this with you. I think you guys are off base on this. Other people think we were off base on things like, the preamble to the Bill of Rights. But hey, that's okay. That's fine. It's called civil discourse. We don't want people to agree with us 100%. I don't want people to agree with me 100% of the time. If that happened, it would be pointless for me to talk to anybody. I'd just sit in front of a mirror and talk to myself.
Wouldn't that be like Trump's morning ritual?
Well, yeah, pretty much. The first whole, half a day. But the point is, we have to have civil discourse. We have to be able to converse with each other so that everybody has an understanding. And a lot of people say, oh, that's that new age stuff. You just want to talk things through. No, there's a time for talking, and then there's a time to getting down and getting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, I would rather take the time to sit and talk before I have to get down and get dirty. I really would, because once I go down that path, I don't even want to think about it. I really
There
don't.
is something that is missing with these people. There's a disconnect, a cognizant disconnect that they have, where they don't understand the full reality. And it's not that they just don't understand, it's that they have willfully closed their eyes to it. They have been told and shown over and over and over again just how dangerous he really is, just exactly what type of threat he represents, and it's as though they just don't want to hear it. It's as if facts are harmful to them. It drives them insane, or it pushes them to become postal. Maybe they'll find Kasich's father to find out what happened to that clue that he can't win, where that went. But still, the Trump followers
are reminding me in so many ways of the Jonestown cult, of the cult of personality that we saw surrounding Barack Hussein Obama, both in 2008 and again in 2012. And it's that type of mentality where their fearless leader can do no wrong. Fearless leader has all the answers. Build a wall, make Mexico pay for it. We'll put Pachinko on that side. That's how they pay for it.
Yep.
But it's so far-fetched that if you strain your eyes hard enough, you'll see Pegasus and a bunch of unicorns dancing around, frolicking around with rainbow farting fighter jets flying through the middle of it, and that's somehow going to cause a fountain of youth that's actually Willy Wonka's chocolate factory coming out of Ponta Gorda in Mexico. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's as though we're going with Dr. Leary dropping out on acid, and that's going to find reality. You know, we have to have realistic solutions. Realistic solutions have to be practicable. They have to be workable. They have to be sane. They have to be rational. But I don't get that with Trump.
You mean rational, logical, real solutions like, I don't know, understanding the Constitution and applying it the way it should be applied in its original intent? Randy, can it really be that simple? Can it really be that simple to get back to the original framework and application of our shared Constitution?
Yeah. It really can be that simple. And the reason that it is that simple is because we, the American people, are the beneficiaries of this great contract. This contract that states that there are two parties, people and government. And whenever the government breaches that contract, there are repercussions. But in order for the Constitution to protect us, we have to be able to be proactive, to be vigilant, to go out and protect the Constitution. It's a quid pro quo situation. And if we don't wake up to that reality, and if we are unwilling to take the steps that are necessary to ensure the prolonged vitality of that sacred document, then we are going to see the moral decay. We're going to see the death spiral of this great republic of ours continue unimpeded, uninterrupted, without delay. And that is unacceptable, because we are the ones that have been endowed by our Creator, the God of nature, to have the power to say the most powerful two-letter word, most universally understood word in the English language. No. No, you cannot take away my rights. No, you cannot become a potentate. No, you cannot become a dictator. No, you cannot strip me of my fundamental and inalienable rights. But that means taking that step, embracing who we are as popular sovereigns. This nation belongs to us, not to anybody else, to us.
Yeah, and governments are established by the governed. Period. That's how it works. Period. The federal government does not have rights. They have delegated authorities. The states do not have rights. They have delegated authorities. Delegated by whom? We the people. We the people delegate the authority to the states, who in then turn take some of those delegated authorities, whittle them down, and then pass them on to the federal government, all from we the people. It's top to bottom. That's how it works. And when the states think that they can supersede the United States Constitution, what they're really doing and trying to do is usurp the authority of we the people. It does not work that way. And same in retrospect of if the government tries to usurp the authority from the states. They're ultimately trying to usurp the authority from we, the people. We, the people, are at the top of the food chain when it comes to rights. We are the only entity mentioned in the Constitution, our shared document of vitality for this great republic of ours, that are shown to have the possession of rights.
It's because we were the only ones ever to be endowed with those rights. That is the understanding of human dignity. It is part of that whole inherent natural law principle. Because when you stop and think about the natural order of things, government starts with the fundamental building block of society. The fundamental building block of society is the family. That is where government starts. That's where it's at its strongest. From there, it goes to municipal. From city and municipal, it goes to county or parish if you're in Louisiana. And then it goes to state. Then it goes to the federal. But at the federal level, you will find it at its most limited. It must trace it back to a specific power enumerated to it within the four corners of the Constitution. If they operate outside of that purview, if they operate outside of that scope and application, it is a truly detrimental thing. And that is why there is the redress of grievances. That's why the tenets of federalism were designed the way that they were. But you see, folks, we have experienced generation upon generation of steadily divorcing ourselves from the Constitution, from the key that is the solution to the problems facing this nation, to the point of where it is a seemingly impossible uphill battle to achieve. And one of the major propaganda victories of the Fabian socialists is that they have somehow convinced people that wanting to keep, maintain, and preserve our Constitution is now somehow a radical position to hold.
Yeah. And I want to tie this back in with Trump. Because, like you said, it all starts with the family. All starts with the family. Well, let's look at Trump's family. He's on, what, his third marriage. It's like he only does these things and marries individuals, you know, has children with different women or whatever. It's not for the purpose of having a family. It's for the purpose of building his legacy, building an empire. It's a despotic notion in the way that he has these so-called family values, which are nothing more than the, you know, gutter values found in the trenches known as the sewers of New York City. Now, when you take those values and that individual and you put them side by side with, let's say, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz has one wife, has only had one wife, has two daughters, exudes family values, talks about the family nucleus, talks about being together with the family and doing this not only for his children, but for the children of all families. See, Ted Cruz is not wanting to be president so that he can be in charge. He's wanting to be president so that we can be in charge. He wants to right the ship and return the sovereign authority back to we the people. Now, if that's not integrity, if that's not dignity, if that's not honor, and people want to view Trump having a massive amount of wealth, owning a lot of property. See, that's all materialistic stuff. That's all crap. I don't need money per se. I don't need to have massive amounts of money. Does it make things a little bit easier? Yes. But I often sit and ponder to myself, if I had the amount of money, even a tenth of what Donald Trump has, I sit and think to myself, what kind of trouble could you get into with that? And trust me, folks, I could get into a lot of trouble. I mean, would my financial obligations be taken care of? Absolutely. Does that mean, would that change me as a person? I would like to think not. I would like to think that I'm not going to change in my values. I don't want to change in my values, because if I did, it would be an insult to my parents and an insult to my grandparents. It would be an insult to my family. It would be an insult to Randy and his family, and our first Air Marshal Nelson Ward and his family, because we've all had these conversations. We hold each other accountable. We rely on each other, and the things that we have going on in our lives, we build each other up when we're down. This is what this country needs. We don't need someone to build a wall to make people happy, because guess what? Walls eventually get toppled.
History shows it time and again. And
repeatedly.
Really what it comes down to is there is a national sovereignty that exists in the hearts, souls, and minds of Americans everywhere. But the Fabian socialists have infested all of our institutions of education. They have worked nonstop to push American citizen against American citizen. And what better way to see it play out than through the cameras of the graduates of Pavlov's School of Journalism for the salivating mainstream media, as they portray the diabolical follicle standing there on the stage, just spewing all of these Trumpspiracy theories again and again and again, inciting violence, only making Corey Lewandowski play second fiddle after he's been charged with simple misdemeanor battery, after we see the entire electoral primary process of the gutless opposition party, or GOP, cast into the mud, cast lower than it has ever been in its entire history, to see this type of poorly scripted reality television program play out before our eyes like a slow-motion train wreck. And yes, folks, the train that will emerge from that wreck as this mangled piece of twisted, warped, rusted, cracked metal will be the Trump train. And the victims on it will, at that point, not really matter what their positions were, what they held, because when you stop and think about it, they're Americans. And they look at us with vitriol. They look at us with hate. They come and spew the death threats towards us. But damn it, are they not Americans too? And damn it, are we not Americans too? And what happened to the ability to cast aside all of the meaningless, nonsensical crap to see through to what the reality is? It's that they don't want to see it. But we will still be there to lend a helping hand. But the trust, the camaraderie, the filial spirit, I fear that's been damaged. And I fear that has been irreparably damaged. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong on this, but I have nothing that to go off of here, nothing to see that they've put forth that gives me any modicum of hope that we have seen some sort of change here. Because let's put it this way. If they want to regain that sort of filial unity, if they want to regain the type of stance that they had before all of this, they're going to have to work awfully damn hard to earn it. You see, because respect is not something that's just handed out. Respect has to be earned. And if you lose respect, it takes a much, much longer time to regain that respect, regain that dignity that has been lost. And that is no small task. And folks, we've been warning them about this for, oh, how long now, Jeremy? 6, 7 months?
and it's not just with the Trump campaign. We've been warning them about this for, God, how long have we known each other?
Five,
6 years. So even before you and I met each other, individually, we were warning people about this.
Yeah.
So it goes on and on. And I want to talk about the respect here. We have a sign at work. It's just a sheet of paper that was printed off, and it says respect and trust can take up to a lifetime to achieve and acquire,
and can be lost in a minute.
Can be lost in a minute.
That's right.
Now, and here's the caveat to that. With regards to the individuals on the Trump train, when they crawl out from that wreckage, I want them to know I will still, with every fiber of my being, every breath in my body, support, uphold, and defend and protect your constitutional rights. Because just as Randy said, you are still Americans. And if I did not uphold to that and I did not stand by that, then that would make me a fraud. It would be the biggest insult, not only again to my family, to Randy, to Nelson, and to all of you. Because time and time again, I've pledged that this is what I will do. And I will maintain that as my word. I will live by it. I will stand on it. And I don't care who anybody supports.
Right.
I will always stand up for your rights, regardless of what political bent you have.
With that said, it is time for us to begin our descent. I'm going to go ahead and send the flight attendant back for one last round of alcohol. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your Captain, Randy Wright, and I've been joined by my first officer, Jeremy Grapington. Folks, we want to thank you for choosing to fly the Wright Flyer. Also, we invite you to leave any questions or comments or concerns that you might have either here at our YouTube page or at our Facebook page or at our Google Plus page. And we also invite you to follow us at Twitter at the Twitter handle of @RadioAviationX. That's @RadioAviationEX, @RadioAviationEX. One more time, @RadioAviationEX. Thank you again, folks. There you will find our personal Twitter accounts there on the departure board, as well as our cafe press account, where you'll find a lot of trinkets and goodies, including drinking glasses with our logo, our first class logo, and also any types of clocks, watches, clothing. It's all there. Go ahead and give us some support. We will see you next time. Thank you very much, folks.